And Heath, you are an entrepreneur. You've launched multiple businesses. What have you learned about the importance of attracting people to your business and the success of how that plays out?
Well, it's great to be here first. The energy in the room is awesome. I have not been on a stage in 5.5 years, and my colleague reminded me of that last night, just made me a little nervous, so thank you, Rich. But it's great to be here. I would say, so everyone in this room, if you're an entrepreneur, you've started a business or a not-for-profit, when you have that idea, it's a spark, right? And it can become a little flame with a little bit of effort, but you have to guard it because it's really fragile, very susceptible to self-doubt, very susceptible to the winds of doubt. So I like to say I cupped my hands around this idea for a long time, and then I had to find the people around me that could throw a little bit of fuel on the fire. And really, I think that's the key to kind of jumping into the scale mode of the business, is finding the right people that believe in the vision and that are willing to throw their efforts and energy behind it to put fuel on the fire.
Yeah, and in the midst of entrepreneurship, I mean, like last night I shared about how it was my anniversary, right? This isn't the best.
Congratulations.
Thanks, and sorry, right? Because I did it during this thing. But like the people closest to you are oftentimes impacted the most. Yeah. What have you learned about that in your journey?
Well, I loved Stephanie's statement from We Are Rosie last night. She said, I wanted to give my family the highest impact when I'm present. I did not do that. And I could tell you many stories. Let me tell you a couple. We moved to London. I had 4 kids under the age of 5. We landed on a Saturday. We had mattresses on our apartment floor. That was it. And I got on a plane on Monday to Dublin. Not a good idea. My oldest son at this is 16 now, but when he was 9, he wrote a little letter in a school project and said, I want to give my dad the gift of family time. When I quote-unquote retired from my last company, my son at 11 years old said, Dad, I'm so excited you retired because I didn't really know you for the first 10 years of my life. So these are the types of things that hurt, right? There's some regret in those. I actually thought the last was pretty funny. But they also prompted the idea behind this business, and that I let my identity get wrapped up in being an entrepreneur and that success train. And I realized as I said in the video, I just needed to be better, and I needed to create a better path and a better rhythm for my family.
And, the greatest tool we have today is our phone. I mean, it's the tool for connection to friends. It's the tool for, you can basically launch a business from your phone. You can do, everything is through this device. And now you want to encourage people to kind of shut it down, right? Like, how do you, how are you combating this tension in what you're creating?
Well, first and foremost, I have been in the technology industry my entire career. So I am pro-technology. I'm pro-phone. I'm not giving my phone up anytime soon because I love the things that it does for me. But it's a tool. And I think over time, it's only 15 years old that we just celebrated the Apple anniversary. We just haven't developed the right relationship with it. So a lot of what we're doing is helping families, helping businesses, helping entrepreneurs create the right relationship with it. I love to read, but I don't take a book to the dinner table. That's the example my partner always uses. So there are times when it makes sense to have your phone. There are times when it doesn't make sense to have your phone. And we're just trying to make it easy in those times to be able to put it away and focus on what's most important.
All right, so explain this. This is a box, right? Is it just a box? Is it something more? What is this thing?
It is a smart box that is packed full of technology. So the whole concept was built around how do people form habits, right? What's the science of habit formation? And the first stage always is you need a visual cue. It's the reason if you put your bike in the basement, you don't ride it versus on the main level. So we said, hey, we've got to create something beautiful, something that can live in someone's house where they're going to walk by it, see it, and that's the cue to say, hey, my phone should go there. But it can't just be a cue, right? There's got to be a craving, like I want to do this. And we found in our research that there's a lot of pride in taking time away. But then there has to be the response, right? The response is putting your phone away. And the great thing about this device is that it's frictionless. We don't ask you to open an app, click a button, then put your phone in. You can just drop it in, and it automatically starts tracking your time away. We like to say this is the off-screen version of screen time, right? And then the reward on the other side of that, we think ultimately is what you do, the connections you make, the conversations you have. But we've also built in all the tech tricks as well. So, streaks and rewards and levels and badges and all those things. So we've really tried to gamify the whole experience of being offline.
So my daughter's 12. She wants a phone. and I'm gonna get a box and tell her to put the phone away. Like, how do you even? I mean, there's like us, right, and the tensions we have, and then there's our kids. How do you invite them into this where they don't think it's lame?
Well, let me say, with young kids, they do want their parents back because we are the worst role models. I have failed many times over. I told you a couple stories. I could tell you many more, but we don't model using our devices well, most of us. So young kids in particular do want their parents back, and we've got great stories of 3 and 4 year olds grabbing their parents' phone and screaming for them to put it inside the box. So that will happen. I have 2 16-year-olds, a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old, 3 of which have phones. Changing behavior is a lot harder than instilling behavior, so I would encourage you to get started early because then the digital muscle gets built over time. But even with my older kids, so my daughter will have study groups come over, they all put their phones away. When my kids have friends spend the night, they all put their phones away. So it has become a part of our natural rhythm and habit in our family. And the gamification of this makes it, the challenges and all the other aspects built in make it fun for kids as well.
I love it. So you put the phone in there, and it charges, I think, when it's in there, right?
There's a wireless charger in.
Yeah, and then it starts tracking that you are not using it, and the rewards are based off unusing of the phone, right? So what's your vision? Where do you think this is going to go going forward?
I always like to say we want to bend culture just a little bit, right? I think the trajectory we're on. No, I never have to tell anyone the problem, right? I always say, like, look, this is easier than last time around because most of us recognize that our phone is our number one distraction, keeping us from what's most important. So the problem's pretty apparent. I just hope that people start to develop that different relationship. My partner always says, when you change the relationship with your phone, you change the relationship with everyone around you, including yourself. So really, it's about the relationship. It's not about the device itself.
So if anyone is interested in being a part of this, is like one of the first ones, right? Like, when does this stuff launch? How do they get it? What's happening?
Yeah, so back to the spark of an idea. So this was an idea from 6 years ago, actually, that we started working on 3 years ago. So, and back to the winds of doubt, everyone told me hardware was really hard, and they were right. And I'm so glad I was naive because had I known that, I probably wouldn't have started this. But we are really close. We are 8 weeks away from shipping. This is a beta unit. We've had one of these out, doing betas with families and others. 8 weeks from now, we'll be launching. We'll be shipping, directly to consumers. We think this works great in a home, of course. That's the environment we live in. I also would have given anything to have these in every conference room at my last company, to have more focused meetings. I would love to have these in getaway hospitality resorts so that when you go to disconnect, you have something that helps you disconnect. So we'll see which way the business pivots. But for now, we're hoping that singles, couples, families get involved.
I've said this to people before, like, in today's culture, the most interesting person in the room is your phone, unfortunately, right? Like, because everyone is competing. Right now, look, I see a bunch of you guys on your phone. You think it's more important than we are right now. And I'm not, like, I am shaming you, but that's a whole different thing. But like, this is the tension that, and we all know it, right? We don't want to do this, but we do it. We compete every moment with the person in front of us, with the rest of the world, right, at our fingertips. And I think what you've created is something to combat that, right? And obviously it's the first version. Who knows where it goes long term and what you learn through this and the data that you find and probably the better life that everyone will have due to this. Steve Jobs will be sad that you can.
Apple will love this.
It'll be great. Okay. And but it's an attempt at trying to do something different, right?
My partner Joey always says this. He says, when you put down your phone, you bestow value to everyone around you. And I used to go on dates with my wife, and I would have my phone on the table, and if it's buzzing and beeping, I might as well not be there. And she was not happy. If I flip it over, it's a little bit better, right? But there's still that tension. If I give that phone to her and I say, put it away, put it in your purse, put it on the other side of the table, totally different, totally different. So It is. It's that tension in the room. Believe me, I use my phone a lot, right? We're building a business. Just like you said, it's integral to what we do. And again, we're pro technology. But, when you put your phone away, it gives you the opportunity to connect. It gives you the opportunity to have that conversation with your teenage daughter that wouldn't have happened. It gives you the opportunity to sit on the back porch and have a conversation with your spouse or partner that wouldn't have happened. It gives you the opportunity to go on a walk without your phone and actually look up and see the trees that wouldn't happen. So it just opens up your perspective. And all of us, again, I'm the worst offender of this, and part of this is maybe just to solve my own problems, but it just gives you the opportunity to see things differently.
Well, I'm really glad you got to share this with our community. I think all of us are constantly wrestling with this tension of how do we be present in the relationships and the people that we love, right? That's a tension that we all feel. Me, number one, like more than anybody. So thanks for creating this. If people want to find out more information about this product and software, you can go to goaro.com. And